Hello Flosstube, my name is Mariam, my pronouns are she, her. You may know me as Marroomycrafts on Instagram or MyRoomyDesigns on Gumroad. Welcome to my 6th Flosstube. Today is mostly about finishes. So this is a channel about cross stitch and sometimes diamond painting. Today I'm going to share a diamond painting finish with you as well, but majority of our talk will be about cross stitch. So welcome to all of my new subscribers and welcome to all of you who came back. If you have not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe and make sure that you hit the bell if you want to make sure that you get notification every time I upload. In general, I usually have Flosstubes once a month, but if there is any new release coming up, I will have a Flosstube extra. Recently I released a pattern, so you're going to see it as finished today as well, and we're going to talk about future plans and all the stitchy goodness as well. Alright, let's talk about fully finished objects. I usually don't have any fully finished objects because I'm really bad at fully finishing things. I tend to just roll my finishes and then keep them in R-tube, and hopefully one day I finish them. Today I do have a fully finish of an old project that I finished. It was at the tail end of 2020, like this. I started cross stitching in November of 2020, so this was like project, I think third project that I actually finished. It's the first project that I did that was like a counted cross stitch and wasn't one of those like printed canvases. So here it is. So I finished it into a project bag and I tried to quilt it. If you see, I didn't do a great job. They're not straight, they're not like evenly spaced. I just did like a square, went horizontally and vertically and just sew it. I have used oh yep, we do have a visitor. Are you gonna yep, hold on. Yeah, this pattern called Colorful Cats. As you can see, no explanation needed. Cats in different colors. But this is a really special project for me. So I lost the cat last year, and he used to sit on me when I stitched and play with the threads. So a lot of my early stitching that was done when he was alive was done with his flavor. So let's say that. So if you see those dirty spots, I actually washed this like several times at the time when I finished it first. But all these light cats have these dark spots, which are cat hair. I don't know if you can hear, but there is like something happening outside, and there was this hissing noise. Of course, when I'm recording, that happens. But I'm just hoping that it's not that distracting. So I'm gonna just go on. Alright. So yeah, so as you can see, there are a lot of Meshki, that was his name. Meshki means black. It was a black cat. So there's a lot of him in this project. So this is like precious to me because of that. So yeah, I used lightweight kind of like batting for to make the quilt, and inside is just a like white fabric, and I used a ribbon, polka dot ribbon, to cover the edges all around. Yeah, so that's my newest project bag. That was my only fully finished item for this time. Okay, so now let's talk about finishes. I do have plenty of those. All right, so because this was month of October and I was doing a spooky small sale and was focusing only on JavaCrossStitch magazine's Halloween edition from 2021 and 2022, and other small patterns that I had that were spooky, just to like get some small stitching done, because at least I am mainly focused on those like bigger, larger, more elaborate patterns, and I forget about all these cute little patterns that I collected over the year and have not stitched. So I even had like earmarked all those little patterns that I liked from those magazines, but I never actually stitched them. So I decided to just do that for that month of October. So first finish, and these are all like, I was able to finish each of these in like maximum 4 days, I think. And that was like a light stitching, because at the time I was doing model stitching as well. So alright, so the first one is Angry Cat. I've seen this done by other stitchers as well on Instagram, and they all look really great. This reminds me of my cat, Asad, the visitor that we had. And last year when we gave him a bath for the first time, this was the look he gave us. Like, yeah. So I was like, this is like him. I have to make this into a cross stitch. So here it is. This pattern was perfect. And I used all the like leftover fabrics that I had from the cutoff of like extra fabric leftover from other projects, plus all the leftover threads that I had from when I started and was using kits. And these are all the threads that were left over from those kits. They're not all match, so if you look closely in the black, you clearly see a couple of like lines, because like this section was one kind of black and this another, and so the brands didn't match. I didn't, you know, mind that, because like goal was for the pattern to be done, and when you look at it from the distance you can't notice those lines anyway, so it's fine. And this is on, if I'm not mistaken, this is 18 count Picture This Plus Jade. Next project was Halloween night. I modified this a little bit, so these like little ghosties had faces, but they were not white. They were all, you know, pattern was in, so they were supposed to be in gray. They looked really odd, so I changed that. I added a metallic thread to white for the moon, so it's a bit sparkly. I don't know if you can see it, but this is sparkly. And this is 18 count Ada that I over dyed. This used to be yellow and I over dyed it, and now this is the result. Again with leftover fats. I love that little kitty there. That's cute. Again, this is from JavaCrossStitch magazine 2021. Next is Bones and Eyes. This is supposed to be like sort of like a biscuit kind of situation, but I'm probably going to keep it as square. I love this kind of symmetrical patterns. Again, 18 count Ada is over dyed, used to be yellow. I had like this like huge piece of yellow Ada, like cheap Ada that I bought when I just started stitching, and they actually sent that by mistake. I bought a piece of yellow and then piece of I think light coffee, and then what they sent me was 2 pieces of yellow. So, and of course I could not find the seller or get a response to get that changed, so I'm like, this is cheap Ada anyway, so I'm going to keep it and experiment with it. So when I started experimenting with dies, I was like, that's perfect. Let's just experiment with that extra piece. So these are all the results of that experiment. So this is like, I use red dye blue on this, and this is the result. This one was a combination of fuchsia and blue, and this was the result. So yeah, different result based on what kind of color I used on it. So yeah, I love this. And there is a mistake in there, but you can't tell, so I'm okay with it. I didn't even bother to, you know, correct it. I was like, it's not really visible, so let's go with it. Yep. And that also was from JavaCrossStitch magazine 2021. Now we're moving to 2022 JavaCrossStitch magazine. This one is Haunted Pumpkin Trio. I really love this. This is 18 count Picture This Plus in Jazz, I think. And I use all these leftover threads. So yeah, the variegated one was a thread that I had in a pack. I bought in a pack that didn't have a name, so I really don't know what this is, but it works. Those little ghosties are so adorable. I just love this. This cat, the pattern, they charted it for gray cat, but I just changed. Of course, I changed it to black because why not? I have a black cat, so yeah. Next is Pumpkin King. Again, JavaCrossStitch magazine Halloween 2022, okay, from this year, and it's all in black, and I use the MC metallic in black gold for the crown and the corners. Yeah, I love this. This was super quick stitched. It's like, it's tiny. This was super quick. I love it. And this is again another piece of that experiment. This is fuchsia and on that yellow, so it gave me this orangey red. I love this, like the red that it gave me. And on the flip side of that, we have Nevermore. So that's the next project. This tiny little thing had a lot of color changes, if you believe it. So it gave a lot of good detail for the size of it. It's super small, but it has good detail. And I love the colors and those little crows and the skull. Yeah, just love this. It's super tiny, so I love it. Yeah, so these were all from JavaCrossStitch magazines. And then I have, so this used to be Astro, the Halloween cat. By the way, if you're hearing munching in the background, that's my cat eating his lunch. Yeah. So this used to be Astro by Christy from Pixel Pixie Stitches. I modified it to say Assad, which is my cat. This cat used to be orange, now it's black because of my cat. And this is his personality. He's a little alien disguised as a cat. Seriously. Sometimes I just wonder. So yeah, that's him. Mischievous look. I added a little bit of green to his eyes because my cat has green eyes. I love all these little candies around. He loves his snacks. So, I mean, he doesn't eat candy, but his candy is his snacks, right? So he loves that. And it says Asa. I mean, I had all the letters except for L, but I could just make it up based on the alphabet that was provided. All right, and this is Picture This Plus Haunted, I think. Yeah, it's Haunted, and 18 count. And now the big finish. So I was really, during all that, like those little projects, I also was working on my model, because I wanted to have a release before Black Sampler November, and this was a sampler. It was my first sampler. I mean, it's not technically my first sampler, but first full-size sampler. I designed a tiny little sampler for Nowruz, Persian New Year, at the beginning of March, if I'm not mistaken. But this is the first time I actually designed a full-on sampler. Here it is, Afshan sampler. Has a band of Persian alphabet, which goes from right to left, 32 letters. This is a Vagire sampler, which is like, I explained all of that in the separate video that I made for it. It's a style of sampler rugs that were popular in 17th and 18th century Iran. And I borrowed like elements from that, because the idea was to put together a collection of borders, collection of motifs for the buyer to make their decision about what they want to choose for their own rug. And also to for those who were learning how to become a good rug designer, to practice. So this was like a practice rug sort of thing. So I used that idea and came up with Afshan sampler. Afshan is the name of that flower, which is an open flower. It's also called mother flower. So yeah, I have a lot of floral and geometric patterns. So it's a collection of borders. I may come up with more Vagire samplers, but it's not guaranteed. I'll see how I feel. I think, so here's the thing. Every time I have like a Flosstube video, I go on about like my plans. This is what I want to do in terms of like designs and patterns I'm going to come up with. But then by the next video, I have done something else. So for example, this was supposed to come out by the end of December, closer to my birthday, which is January 4th. But I was like, well, Black Sampler November is coming up. I want to have something released for that. So let's rush model stitching it and get it done. So I did it. I finished it on Saturday 28th, and I just released it that same day. This is a stitch on 20 count Zoyguard Vintage Country Mocha, and I used Sulky 12 weight in Chestnut 1189. So it's really dark red. So if you look, you know, you can easily, if you want to really have a black sampler, you can definitely stitch it in black or any color or a combination of different colors. But based on what Jacob shared in his video, any dark close to black color also counts, because a lot of those vintage ways of dyeing threads would not give you a pitch black and true black color. They will give you off black, like it's not like exact black. So it's close to black, but it's different colors. So it's either blue or brown or red in this case. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. So technically this is supposed to be my last release for this year, but who knows? I'm not going to promise anything. I'm going to just say I'm a designer by the whim. So this is my passion. This is my hobby. It's not a profession to me. I do have a full-time job that is super demanding. So a lot of times this is my escape. This is my release. How I design and stitch, that's my outlet. of being creative and also getting that like release that your mind will need after a full day of being under pressure and stressed out. So yeah, so who knows, technically this should be the last release for this year, and next year I'm gonna start with Weird and Wonderful, but I'm telling you that now, this is the plan now, today, while I'm recording this. Who knows, after I finish recording, I change my mind and come up with something else, or just change the plan altogether. I just know that I enjoy designing, and I will continue doing that. So that I can promise you, but everything else is subject to change. So yeah. So that's the last finish that I had in the month of October. Now let's talk about, oh, I had another actually finish that was diamond painting. I'm gonna insert a video of it, of the actual finish and photo of it here. And it's called Faceless Ghosts by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. I bought the canvas from Uniquely Yours Down Under, which is Australian brand. They have a huge collection of Jasmine Beckett Griffith, so if anyone is interested in big-eyed girls, she has them all. And also they have a lot of good classic, like they turned old master paintings into diamond painting, so there are a lot of those. It's 65 by 80 centimeters, and it was full round. It had 2 AB colors, which are like those sparkly ones, and I was really happy with that. I finished that for an event, Drills and Chills 2022, that's happening every September and October. At least it has been happening for the past I think 3 or 4 years now that it has been happening. And yeah, so you work on something that is spooky or anywhere related to autumn or witches, dark subjects, and I chose her. So yeah, so I really enjoyed working on that. I definitely will. This was the first time I bought from that company. If you go on the website, here's a hint, if you're based on US, when you look at the prices, those are all Australian dollars. It's in dollars, but it's Australian dollars, so don't freak out. Put the item in your cart. When you start checking out, then it will, you'll see that the final amount that you end up paying is much less than what you see at the beginning. So yeah, it's a little scary because it looks like, oh, this is a lot of money. It still is a lot of money, but the quality is good. I love the drills. They're mostly uniform. I only had problem with a couple of drills that were misshapen or had like they were of low quality. They had like tiny bits, extra trash in them, but the rest of them were really good. And the canvas was sticky enough. It's not super sticky, I can tell you that, but it's not with no stick. So it does have enough glue on it that you can, it's poured glue. It's not double-sided adhesive, it's poured glue, and you can definitely work with it for sure. So yeah, I highly recommend Uniquely Yours Down Under. Yeah, so now let's talk about whips. So because majority of the month and time I was working on those like finishes. So I started and finished so many things. So I didn't really work on my whips. I just started, after I finished all that project and all of that, I started stitching on black vintage sampler. Let me show you the photo first. So this is it when it's done. Finished all of that. I'm here. It's black vintage sampler by Owl Forest Embroidery. If you go to the website, because it's a Russian company, you're not going to be able to buy the kits or PDFs from them directly. But if you want to purchase this, definitely you can go to, if you search, not Google, if you go to Etsy and search Owl Forest Embroidery, or specifically type the name of the pattern you're looking for, it will come up. I don't remember the name of the actual company that are selling it. It's a French company that they're actually uploading the PDF pattern, and it's all legal and all of that. So it's PDF patterns of Owl Forest Embroidery. You can't buy the kits from them, but you can definitely have access to the PDF that way. So you can just buy them, and it's the same price as if you buy them from their site directly. So yeah, this is stitch on 18 count Aida in, like, it's a mystery Aida. I bought it when I just started. It's a cheap Aida that I bought. I'm not that happy with it. It's a rough Aida. It's modeled like light blue with some modeling of gray on it. And I'm stitching this in 2 colors. So majority of it is black. Some of the flowers in the border are stitched in chestnut 1189, which is my favorite red, and some of the little creatures are also stitched in red. I chose these like because of their personal meanings to me. I'm gonna just share 3 of those. I have 2 birds stitched in red. I had a pair of parakeets that passed away a few years ago, and they were my companion for a long time, and so I stitched 2 little birds in their memory. This is in memory of Mishki, the cat, my cat that passed away last year, so I stitched him in red. So yeah, each those little ones that are in red had its own meaning. So now I'm all the way down here. If you look, last night I just stitched a mermaid. So not a lot is left. I have to finish that border here. And then there was a big fish here. There's a ship here, and there are tiny little motifs that are left. So I'm hoping to be able to finish this month. So we'll see. We'll see. So this was the only whip I worked on, but I also started. I had a start as well. So let me put this away. Okay. So let's talk about a start. So about a month ago I released this pattern, Sepide. It was a dedication to women in Iran, and has a lot of symbolism of women and winter solstice, which we call Yalda, and she's a bringer of light. Her name means Sepide is the first light after a dark night, that break through that darkness and brings the morning. So that's her, and in her body she embodies light, and you can see the scene. There's a sun rising there, but she is in a dark night. right now. That's a pomegranate tree. So if you want to know more about this pattern, I went in depth about it in a separate Flosstube extra that I released about it. So at the time, because I wanted to release it because of the situation in Iran, I did not model stitch it, but I wanted to stitch it. So I bought, originally I bought an 18 count Ada in dark blue, and then I started, like I tried to stitch in metallic white. Let me show you. So this is the metallic thread. You can't tell what color is it. So it has like iridescent shift to it. It's not white. So it has like little pieces that are, it goes green, blue, pink. So it has like an iridescent shift. This is sulky, and I'm thinking this should be 50 weight because this is super thin. So I tried to stitch with this like folded. Even folded, this is not that, you know, thick to stitch with. So I tried it on 18 count. I didn't like it. It's difficult to stitch with anyway, but I'm determined to stitch this in a metallic. I wanted to add a little sparkle because it's a special project for me. So I bought this. Let me see what the name of it was. Bought this 20 count Ada in Midnight from MyVintageNeedleArts. It has a little bit of mottling if you look at it, but it says this is hand-dyed, but look at the back. I don't know. This is not hand-dyed, or it's not dunked in the dye like a usual, like a normal hand dye. It looks more like someone sprayed on the paint or the dye. So yeah, so one side of it is lighter than other. So and it's not that soft either, but I'm gonna stitch on it anyway because it's 20 count and the color is what I'm looking for. So I started stitching with 2 strands of that metallic, and this is the result. I don't know how I feel about this. If you look at it closely, it's not a complete coverage, but I'm not sure. Is this good? What do you think? Is this good coverage? Because now I'm thinking, should I go and think about maybe a different kind of thread? Maybe petite treasure braid, which will be a pain, and you know what, to stitch this whole thing in that. This is easier than stitching in petite treasure braid. Like, let's be honest. I mean, I've had easier time stitching with this now. Like folded, like 2 ply, which you can see here. But it's not the full coverage. So I don't know. I'm thinking maybe a trois, but a trois doesn't have, like, it's not full on metallic. It has like a glittery kind of effect in it, but it's not full on metallic. That's my understanding. I never stitched in a trois, and that will be another issue because now I have to find a trois. You can't find it easily. I think Michael has it. I might order some online. Yeah, so yeah, share your ideas. What other metallic threads? And I'm not looking for gold. I'm looking for white and off-white and iridescent kind of colors. I want it to be more of a blue and white kind of situation. So share your thoughts. Let me know. What do you suggest? Should I go on with this? Is this good? Is this good enough? The top line is the one that is like has like it's a complete stitch. These are like half stitches. I have to go back and basically finish I just started this. Yeah. Just started, and then I stopped just to figure out what to do, if I should go on or I should quit now that it's like I just started. Yeah, share your thoughts. I appreciate those. Okay. All right, plans. So for the remainder of the year, my main focus will be first finishing up that Black Vintage sampler. I definitely want to do that. My idea is to get as close as I can, or hopefully finish, fingers crossed, those projects that I started in January. So I started 3 projects in January. One was Black Vintage Sampler, that was my birthday start. And then I started full on like a stitch along of Peppermint Purple Salve, which is a black work. Let me show you. Where's the top? Yeah, here. So these are weekly releases, so I can bring it really close to as far as it's released already. I'm not that behind, by the way. Maybe a month or so, a little more than a month or so, and then continue with it. So it should be easy to catch up and be able to finish by the end of the year. As soon as the last block is released, I can just finish it up. Yeah, so that's one that I want to work on until the end of the year. And then let me get the other one. And I also started The Fruits of Plenty by Modern Folk Embroidery. I'm gonna insert a photo of the finished project here. So I was doing good. This is on 20 count charcoal gray sword, and I'm stitching it in 2 separate, 2 different sulky threads. One is variegated like this one, and then this is solid. The solid, I remember the name is Christmas Red. I don't remember the blue, purple, pink one. So I'm halfway through. I caught up until end of June. So now I have like 6 months worth of stitching left on it, like 6 blocks basically that I have to finish. Technically, if I stitch this monogamously, I should be able to finish it, but I don't know if I want to stitch monogamously, right? So I am like halfway through. So I'm gonna focus on this as well and see how close to the finish I can bring this. So yeah, so those are my focuses for the remainder of the year. However, I mean, knowing myself, I'm probably gonna get bored with just stitching on those couple projects, especially because I'm really close to finishing Black Vintage Sampler. I'm gonna just hone in, finish that on, but then I'll be left with 2 projects to focus on, and I know I'm gonna get bored. So we'll see what else I'll work on. I'm gonna try to, instead of starting something new at the end of the year, I'm gonna try to focus more on my WIPs and see how much I can chip away from any of the other projects that I have. Yeah, because next year I do want to start new projects, right? Okay, so that is it for all the projects and plans and all of that. Now I have a little bit of haul, because it's not Flosstube if there is no haul. I already shared one, which was that 20 count Ada that I bought from MyVintageNeedleArts. I bought another piece as well. This is in Night Shadows. It's another 20 count. That also is weird. So I don't know which side is this the top? No, this is. So you see what I mean? It looks like it's spray painted. The back looks so different. I'm not going to stitch anything on this side. It looks weird. So I'm going to stitch on this side, which is more of like a splatter. So it's cool. It looks cool. This one is more malleable and softer than the other 20 count Ada that I bought. But yeah, I don't have any specific plan for it. Originally I bought this thinking that I will stitch this on it, but then because I decided to go with dark red, I don't know, it would have been nice, but it was too dark. This fabric was too dark for that, and I wanted to see that contrast more clearly, so I went with Vintage Mocha instead. So that's the fabric that I bought. And also I bought some patterns. So I bought a collection of, is it Giallo or Giallo Thriller? This was a spooky release by D20Stitchers and UncannyKari, the duo that brought you so many nice patterns. So it has like a one main pattern, and then these are 3 smalls. And for the main pattern, you have an option of stitching it with these lines as a background, or use Jessie's fabric. This is a specific fabric that was dyed for this pattern by Jessie from MislaidPages. They have dyed this, hand dyed this for them. So I ordered, needless to say, it's Jessie's fabric. So of course I ordered 2 pieces of this fabric, one for this big pattern, and then I'm thinking about stitching at least one of these on that fabric as well. So we'll see. I haven't received that yet, so I haven't received the fabric yet. So when I have it, then I probably should have it by next Flosstube, so I can share it with you. Alright, so that's that. Then I bought Bad Vibes sampler. They are a seller, Big Bad Vibes on Etsy. This is such a cool sampler. Just look at all those little doodads and motifs all around. Look at this border. This is so cool. Looks like a lace border, but it's actually skull and bone. It's so cool. I just love this. There's a symmetry, and look at that. There are bones. Ah, this is so cute. It's creepy cute. Like aesthetic that I love when it comes to stitching. Yeah. And then I bought Frog from Sarah on ModCross. This is basically gives you, it's a 3-in-1. It's a fantastic deal. So this is the main pattern, and then it comes with the smaller size and a drum. So you get all 3. And don't we all need this to be in front of us when we are stitching, right? And then I bought Cane Capal 3 by JavaCrossStitchers. I have finished the Cane Capal 4. That was the style for this year. I'm hoping that I can stitch this next year. If there is a style, the 4 was a style that was started by Nitya from Daybreak Stitchery. I loved stitching that project very much. It has a lot of fractional, but I was able to stitch it on Ada easily. I was stitching on Fiddler's cloth 18 count, which is more, it's not that tight. It's fabric is loose, the fibers are really loose, you can easily pierce it. So I'm planning on doing the same thing for this one. So yeah, this one is red. I love this. Yep, so that's for next year. And Chimo Birds by PeruvianFlair, and I did it again. Just look at that pattern. It's so cool. All these like flip-flopped birds, and she has stitched a sample, the model, on Jesse's one of Jesse's fabrics, and it's like one of those like rainbow fabrics. I wish if these were available in Ada, I would have been on top of it, but they're not. They were not at the time, unfortunately. So I wasn't able to purchase any of these colorful fabrics, but Anna did, and look at the result. It's so cool, like black on that bright background. That's awesome. So I'm planning on doing something similar, just stitching it in black on super colorful background, or stitching it in a stripe white on dark, really dark, colorful but dark fabric. We'll see what I find, and then I stitch it. I don't have any plan on stitching any of these patterns this year though. These are all for next year. Okay. All right. The last thing that is left is shout out. So want to introduce you to Megan and Megan from LongDistanceStitchers. They are friends on different sides of Canada. Their Flosstube is fantastic. I'm just surprised that they haven't had that many of following yet. I'm really surprised. Last time I checked, they had like 80 something followers, which is what? I don't believe it. It's ridiculous. They should have like 100. They should be in hundreds now, right? I'm not a big Flosstuber either, but they should be in hundreds too. Like I don't get it. They're really good. They recorded on Zoom because they're on different side of the country, and they go through you know, all their usual finishes and whips and what they're focusing on, and they work on a lot of different patterns and styles. They have a lot of FFOs, so, and nice ideas for FFOs as well. So I highly recommend their channel. Their vibe is nice because they're friends, they already know each other, so it's really nice to watch their back and forth, their discussion, their talk about different projects they're working on. So I highly recommend, so give them a watch. So I'm gonna add their channel down below, so just check the description box and click on it, and hopefully you subscribe to them as well. All right, so now that's it. It's done. Hopefully I'll be able to get back and next month and have another chat with you before the end of year. That will probably be like a mini whip parade, because I don't have a lot of, like, people have whip parades and there are like hundreds of projects there, and I'm envious of all the projects they work on and all the stars they have. I personally, when I hit number 7 or 8, I start experiencing anxiety. So, and I have like that, like a thought that I need to finish these. So yeah, it's not for me. I love watching them. I so enjoy watching people with their huge, like, batches of whips, and they go through it like kit after kit, and especially full coverage. Can you imagine? Some of them like have so many hates, like heaven and earth design, like patterns that are huge and full coverage, and they have, each one have like 200 something colors, and they're all like max color and full detail. And I have one almost full coverage pattern that I'm working on, and I'm freaking out. So I so enjoy watching those, and so enjoy the positive thinking of like, yes, I can get to these, I can finish them. Like, I just have thought of it. I always think, oh my god, life is too short. Yes, they think life is too short, let's start all the things. I think life is too short, let's finish these. So that's I think that's like a difference of thought process. But anyway, so yeah, I will have my mini whip braid that will take like 10 minutes to shoot, and then I will talk about like my progress. Hopefully by then I'll be able to share some finishes, and who knows what else. I'm telling you, I don't want to start anything, but I might lose my mind and do that. Okay, who knows. All right, so thank you for watching. If you stuck around for the whole video, I really appreciate you spending some time with me. And sorry about the interruption of the noises outside and the kitty walking across, and I'm probably gonna edit those out, but we'll see. If his passing mid-sentence, I don't know, I should probably leave it in. We'll see. And so yeah, enjoy your stitching time. Try to be kind to yourself. If you feel like, don't feel obligated to stitch all the things, because that's the thing. When you watch Flosstube, you might feel the pressure or have a FOMO and feel like, oh, these people are accomplishing all these things. Sometimes I have that feeling. There is no right or wrong way, and right or wrong amount of stitching. The goal is for you to enjoy, right? It's a craft that we all enjoy, and we share the joy. So I don't wish that to change for you. I hope that you enjoy your stitching time as little and as much as you want it to be. And I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye.